Happy Wednesday evening, everyone. I'm just going to run that hero soap ad really quick. We'll wait for some more people to come in, and then I'm going to say my hellos.
Each year, thousands of seasonal travelers suffer from a condition known as SNS, more commonly referred to as stinky nomad syndrome. The good news is that there is a cure. Visit herosoapcompany.com today and help Batch end the scourge of needless funk, while also helping veterans in need. Just pick your soap and enter Batch at checkout for your discount and help a vet today. It's that easy.
You're doing me a favor by buying soap, and Hero Soap Company's giving back to the soldiers. So it's a whole pay forward thing. This means a lot to me. As you know, I was in the airborne for 9 years, and it means a lot. I believe in the soap. I've tried it. It works awesome, and that's why I'm doing this.
I love that ad. What do you guys think about that? You're going to have to tell me in the comments. I have a couple other versions, but I feel like that one fits us as a community the most, and I get the biggest kick out of it. So let's see who's all here today. Of course, Bob's Adventure is the #1 person in here. Thank you so much, Bob. I appreciate your support. Sherry with RV Weekends. Thanks, sweetheart, for coming out. Sonia, the RV DJ. Hello, hello. Thank you for being here. Mallory Dobbs, hello. I think you know my guest just a little bit. Well, I guess you'll get to learn a little bit more about him today. Let me see who else is in the house today. Going Green Mom, hello. Hi, Megan. Thank you so much for being here. Quite a bit of conversation. That's awesome. My bot's running. Oh, thank you for the compliment, Sonia. I like that intro better than the last one I played. Mima Matters, hello, hello. Oh, how nice a Northwoods raid. They are so good to me. They are so good to me. Sherry, you're funny. Hey, Kenneth, how are you? Good to see you here. I'm going to get that stuff in the mail for you. I checked the email, so I will be sending you some special Canadian stuff to taste test on your channel. Cindy Waters, hey, hey, hello, Auntie. Love the new picture. Shanna Craft is here. She's like my #1 first supporter ever. You know what, Shanna? You should email me because I want to get in touch with you. I have a shirt I'm going to send you. I have a Life, It's About the Journey shirt, and it's the Vita. And, you know, if there's anyone that I want to give a shirt to, it's you. So I would like your address so that I can mail that out to you. Michael with California Travel Videos. Hello, so thank you so much for being here. Northwoods RV Life. Thank you guys for coming out. Thanks for shouting out my channel. Thanks for, having me on there before. Thanks for the raid. You guys are spoiling me, and I love every minute of it. Linda R., thank you so much for being here. Yes, for those that didn't know, I finally hit my 1,000. Oh my God. Yeah, I got it last night. Ridge Life heavy promoted my channel, and I went to bed with 1,005 subscribers. I woke up this morning with 997 because that's the routine on my channel, but now I have Roy and Becky's channel. I was on there this morning, and they made sure I got the last numbers that I needed to get my 1,000 back. So thanks to them as well. Hella Artsy Dude, buddy, good to see you. Thank you so much, Shanna. And I think you truly were the first one out of those 1,000. Van Life Rocks, Ray, thank you so much for being here. Am I still jumping up and down? Yeah. But when I look up monetization, when it says 1,000 subscribers, it's got a green check now. So do they let me keep that credit? But I'm super excited. Super excited. My son was actually here with me. We were keeping track of it, like what was happening and how fast my numbers were changing last night, thanks to Tim at Ridge Life. Even he was excited, and I was like, oh my God, we have to celebrate. And I definitely danced around my house yesterday. Oh, thank goodness none of you could see me. Finding happiness in all you do. Hey, hey, thank you so much for being here, my new friend. Oh, it's Grace tonight. Sorry, Grace. I'm so glad you're here. Grim Reaper Country. Hello, hello. Sometimes it takes me longer to read something, a new name to me. Thank you for the congratulations. Thank you for the congratulations. You guys are making me blush. I'm going to pull out my fan in a minute here. Thank you so much. Thank you, the world according the gym. So good to see you here too. You guys are so wonderful. Carrie Joe, thank you, thank you. Congrats to me and Vita, to me and the ambulance. Can't leave the ambulance out, right? Thank you, Lori. Thank you so much for shouting me out on your channel. You guys really helped me grow too. Oh, wow. Oh my God, there is 29 people in the house right now. Oh, that is so awesome. Oh, I much love to each and every one of you. Scrolling. Ardes, Rhonda, so good to see you. I haven't seen you here in a while. Yes, there is a dot between practical and princesses. Plural. I know. I gotta change that email address. RVDJ, my watch hours are surpassing my friends. Hey, either way, you're growing. That's all that matters. I still have half my watch hours to get, and my goal is to get that by the end of 2020. I'm gonna have one of the greatest accomplishments in one of the worst years, and I have all of you to thank for that. Hello, Van Life of Gina. Good to see you. Aw, thank you for the congratulations. I was watching your numbers go up, but you know that I kept messaging you. Yeah, you did. Oh my gosh, you guys. So awesome. So awesome. Okay, well, you guys came here to see John Dobbs. John Dobbs was on my channel. What a wonderful guy. He was willing to come on my channel when I was brand spanking new at doing these live streams. He doesn't have a YouTube channel. I asked him for some information to share with the rest of us that I personally wanted about conversions, things to look for, what to be aware of. And I know him through Facebook, through one of our Facebook groups about ambulance conversions. But John is so much more than ambulance conversions. And today, I'm going to show you some pictures of some stuff that he's recently done. And he's kind of like the conversion guru. That's how I'm going to refer to him. And he was well received last time, so I'm so glad that I got to have him back again. He's also got over 15 years mechanical experience and just does conversions of every shape and kind ever. So it's so awesome. Lucky Dog moderators. You just about snuck in the door. Rob on the road. Hello. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, you guys are fantastic. I hope I didn't miss anyone. Thank you, Carrie Joe. All right. I am going to bring up today's guest, John Dobbs. I feel like I need an applause button.
No, none of that.
How are you?
Hello, everybody. I'm doing very well. How are you?
I am fantastic. You're actually here on my first live stream after I hit my magic number mark.
It's huge, and congratulations. That is absolutely fantastic, and I'm glad I got in at the beginning of it because it's pretty too big for me.
Size-wise only, my friend. Size-wise only.
No.
Oh, my gosh.
No, thank you for having me, and thank you for all the guests as well. That's and all the people that are commenting. That's awesome. Good following.
Yeah, I've met a lot of really great people. Mojo is here. Hello. Yeah, a lot of really wonderful people. It kind of feels like I have a little family, an extended family, and I'm so thankful for that. And I'm glad that I get to share your knowledge with everyone.
Well,
so what have you been doing since the last time I talked?
Busy. I've been extremely busy. My life has kind of revolved around conversions. I've kind of put that out into the universe and manifested that. And it's just kind of come to a head recently. I think a lot of people are kind of striving for that nomadic lifestyle and wanting to go on vacations, especially with the whole COVID thing that's happened this year. I think a lot of people are just looking for avenues to do something different and get out and enjoy life. And so it's brought a lot of cool people, yourself included, my way, that have just, again, I put it out in the universe and it manifested itself into the dream I wanted it to become. My wife and I are working together on stuff now. We're constantly doing conversions or camping or talking with people about conversions. So my goal right now, and has been for probably the past 2 months, is to help people get into what they want. And, whether it's a skoolie, whether it's a van, whether it's an enclosed trailer, or I'm even working with a guy about a barbecue trailer. So it's all kind of coming to a head about different ways of thinking and thinking outside of the box, and kind of gearing towards tiny homes and things like that as well, that kind of interchange with the nomadic lifestyle and kind of the simplistic mentality that we all have with a nomadic lifestyle.
I feel like with COVID and everything that's going on that way, there's a lot of people even being forced into this lifestyle or choosing it because it's the only way they can really make any kind of economical sense in these times.
I agree. And it is very economical. I mean, that's the thing, is a lot of people are realizing that, maybe going out and spending $30,000 on an RV isn't the best decision anymore. Maybe they can find something a little less expensive, a little smaller, that maybe fits their needs, fits their budget, fits their family a little bit better. And it's really, really been awesome to see and work with the people that I've worked with. And it's just been awesome. It really has been a rewarding experience, and gearing around conversions and buyers. It's stressful. I mean, and I realize that. And I think my biggest passion right now is I'm trying to take the stress out of buying a vehicle to convert, or buying a conversion that's already done, or knowing where to start on a conversion. So being a part of that kind of stress breaker and breaking the ice on that with some people has been awesome, because there's a lot of people that want to do it, but they have no idea where to start. And I think that's my biggest passion.
Wished I had you around when I went to start. I really do. I really do.
Awesome. Hey, I'll come to Canada.
Oh, what?
I'll come to Canada. I mean, if anybody needs help, I'll come as soon as they open the borders back up. I don't mind traveling to Canada. That's awesome.
Just make a deal that you're not doing it over the winter, though.
No, you guys can have that. I'll stay down in Georgia. It was 85 today, so.
You brat.
I still got a tan.
Hi. Doug and Nikki, thank you so much for being here. Oh my goodness, there's so many people. This is fabulous.
Okay, awesome.
John.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, and to everybody, I'm going to have to put this in the description below for after the fact. But right now I have just below John and I's picture, I have John's email address. And if you want to contact John for information, you can contact him through Facebook, John Dobbs, or at his email, john.dobbs.1012@gmail.com. So you have a couple avenues then. I mean, you can always get in touch with me too later if you realize that you can't remember how to get a hold of him, because I can always connect you with that. And John's also a part of the ambulance Facebook page. Yes. Do you have a page of your own, John? Like as if a business version page?
No. And I think the main reason is I'm all about organics right now. It's just everything's happening organically. And sometimes if you try to force a business into doing this, it takes the fun out of it. And every single client and every single interaction that I've had has been 100% organic and the right thing. Like meeting friends of friends or next door neighbors. I mean, it's amazing how many people, again, want to do this. And I think just the avenue of finding out who I am, and it's kind of coming about now, especially with your help, which I appreciate, that people are realizing that this isn't just a hobby for me anymore. This is definitely something that is a passion. And I appreciate the title of guru, because I don't want to, I'm not a pro. I will never admit that I'm a pro, but I love this and I'm passionate about it and I enjoy it. My family's passionate about it. We enjoy it. And it's just so much rewarding experience every time I do anything with conversions. So I don't want to force it, and I don't want to, start a business or anything like that. I want to help people. And I think if you monetize everything, you lose the help. True.
Yeah. No, you're doing well. So might as well keep that rolling. I'm going to pull up the pictures now. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Cool.
So just be patient with me because this kid is still learning. Oh, look at that. It worked. Really
You're up and
easy.
moving.
I'm getting much better at this than the last time you were here. Oh,
Yeah.
we have some questions. John, where are you from again?
I am from Northeast Georgia. I'm southern foothills of the Appalachian Mountains.
Okay. Hello, BC Treasures and Won't Elliott RV Adventures. All right. So here's the first picture. Now, this is your first ambulance?
No, this is the ambulance that I currently have. That is Marley. She's a tough little girl. I don't think I'll ever get rid of her. I don't care how many vehicles I own or anything. That's there to stay. We converted that. It was a quick conversion. It was a budget build. It's a 1996 Ford F-350. This was actually last week. My wife, my daughter, and I, we all went farther up into the mountains and went down about 14 miles of muddy, gravelly, rocky roads in that thing, and rode dirt bikes all day. Had a 24-hour camping trip with the 3 dogs, and drove back the next day. So that was just kind of our little campsite setup.
Well, how tall is that? The box on there looks taller than mine.
It's actually pretty short. I mean, I'm 6'1", and I can't stand straight up in it.
I'm 5'8", and I can just stand straight.
Yeah, I think that is a 5'9" box, 5'8" to 5'9" box.
Oh, I mean, mine has that what's that wind thing called that sits on top of the cab? Maybe that's why it looks so much different to me.
Yeah, and no,
It just looks like such a big difference there.
That's an F-Series body, so I don't have a pass-through or anything. I just have a window. The dogs like to stick their head through it.
Okay.
But it's not usable to walk through or anything like that. It really just is. It's a cool little duck-in place that we enjoy camping out of for sure.
That's awesome. Is that one of your little buddies in this picture here?
That is actually, believe it or not, that's from today. That's me driving a school bus. I inspected, negotiated, and delivered that bus to a client today. Her and I have been searching for a bus together now for about 2 months, and she finally found one. We've hit and miss a couple buses, and this one landed today. It's a low mileage beauty. It's a gem. So that's the foreman, the boss, the supervisor. That's Honey in the back there. That was on my way to delivering that.
Awesome. So what do we have here? What in goodness gracious is this?
All right. So this is also this week. It was my birthday Monday. And
happy birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So for my birthday, we kind of, I guess conversion gurus, right? We bought a van and started converting it. And we were just kind of moving towards, I want to build up some inventory. So if somebody just wants to buy a ready to go van, that's kind of where I'm going to. I may not have, 5 or 6, but I may have 2 or 3 at a time that we're working on or doing something with. So this is a 2000 Chevy Astro van. Got a really smoking deal on it. We put some cedar floors in it already. So I spent my whole birthday working, which I wouldn't have it any other way. It was a lot of fun. Spent some time yesterday doing the flooring and things like that. And then going to Raptor line the outside of it, probably give it a little bit more of an off-road look. And then it's on to its new home. So we're converting that to the next buyer. So stay tuned on that.
And then, is this the same thing? Is this the same?
Yeah. So that was less than 24. That was less than 24 hours later. Those are true, authentic cedar floors. I did double gapping, double insulation on that. So it's plenty of air spacing between the flooring, and that is an authentic cedar floor, and it smells.
Do you have to put plastic between insulation and the wood?
No, not if you buy the right stuff.
Oh.
So I always buy the mold preventative and stuff that's already foam insulated. So here in Georgia, I will say it doesn't get too cold. So if this was going up to Canada or a super northern state, I would use much, much thicker insulation. But the R value on this insulation that I used on this van it's good for the Southeast and it's good for the North. As long as you're not traveling in the dead of winter and -40 or anything, you'll be just fine.
Hey, Maddie Van Halen and Ninth Element. Thanks, you guys, for coming in. Yeah,
thank you.
It is a nice cedar floor, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I always like natural wood. I mean, my whole house, you can kind of see behind me. That's all natural wood. My ceilings are natural wood, and the other parts of the house, we kind of live in a little cabin. So natural wood is just an easy resource for me. I like using it. I like the material. I like the way it smells. I like the way it works. It's awesome.
I like how you got this step here.
Yeah, so that's there we go. There's the other side of it. But yeah, this van was kind of a basket case. It had a lot of old carpeting in it. I mean, within 24 hours, it went from nasty carpeting and everything to a nice cedar floor. So
yeah, no, that looks fantastic. I bet you it smells good in there too.
Oh, it smells awesome. It always smells like you're camping.
That's okay. This is a different unit now. That's not all of a sudden what the other one became.
I can't take all the credit for this. I can't hardly take any of the credit for this. My dear friend and client, Carolyn, I found this van for her. So you can recall the last van looking at an ambulance didn't turn out. Went all that way, and it turned out to have a transmission.
You cut out for a little bit. Do you mind repeating that?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. So I was saying from the last interview we were talking about that ambulance that I went up to Philadelphia. Made an 11-hour trip, and so this is the van that she actually ended up with. We found this van. We went up to Nashville, Tennessee to pick this van up. It's an awesome, awesome, awesome Ford van. It's a 1991 Ford van.
It's got like a high top on it. Is that this one? Are you talking? Because I can't hear you if you are. Hang on. Now I'm bouncing between screens. I gotta find him. Well, what the heck? Well, he's frozen. So I'll just show you guys and explain whatever I see. So this lady definitely likes green. Let me just go back. I can see where the sink is. And as soon as John pops back in, he popped out and he's going to try coming back in, and that should help with the connection. I'm going to remind me to ask him what kind of sink he's got in there. In the meantime, I'm going to see, is there anyone else that I missed in the chat? Yeah, Shanna, he's frozen. He'll be back. Yeah, definitely some cool pictures in there, hey? Oh, yeah. I haven't really done anything with my ambulance floor right now. I have carpet on it, which I know it's tougher to clean, but in Saskatchewan, when the winter comes, it's going to be nice. It feels like just that little bit of extra added insulation. So hopefully John will enter the studio again. It definitely can get really cold in Georgia. When I was in basic during winter of 96, our canteens froze and we were doing low crawl exercises in iced water. Oh, that does not sound like any fun whatsoever. Nope, no fun. Well, I hope he comes back soon, but I got the pictures, so let's get to them. Let's see what else does John have. Oh, darn. I think he's coming back, and I can't sneak through all these pictures. Hey, how's it going?
I don't know what happened. Sorry about that, everybody.
Don't worry. You know what? This kind of stuff happens all the time. And you guys are like homesteading, so I can see where your service would be a little bit wonky.
We are literally, when I say we are surrounded by 300-400-year-old oak trees, that's...
Yeah.
Ever,
so I see a roof vent on there. Did you put that on? And then what, two solar panels?
Yeah, so 2 solar panels. That's just kind of a...
Oh, can't hear ya. Yeah, Mallory, I know mountain Wi-Fi, right? Trust me, anybody that's here knows what this is like, because everybody's... when they're doing the nomadic thing, they completely understand how service cuts in and out. Yeah, I agree. Going green, Mom. Megan, that was a really nice conversion. Really nice. Yeah. But the next pictures are some buses. So as soon as I can hear him, Yeah. Uh-oh. Oh, it must be cold already. John's frozen. You guys are so cute. In the meantime, while we're waiting, everybody that's a moderator, could you please drop your links? If there's anybody that you don't know, grab their link and check out their channel and see if there's anything of interest so we can all make our family bigger. Oh, I want to hear the story on these buses. Where is he? I gotta make sure I don't miss him coming back in. I wonder if we're having a problem with this. Maybe someone else knows it. Is this maybe a little bit more difficult on my end because I'm showing pictures too? Would that make a difference? Does anybody know? Yeah, we do. We get bad service. We understand. Oh, yeah. I know, right? I know. Thank you, Kenneth, for dropping your link. RV Weekends, thank you as well for dropping yours. Yeah, you guys, everybody, please drop your links. And if there's someone that you don't know, grab them up. RV Living Life. Here, let me throw you a wrench. I have to do it on my phone because I don't know how to do it on StreamYard. Because literally, it's so easy when I do it on my phone. Oh, Ardez, here we go. I know you. Oh, Nelly. Oh, there's a whole lot of people here that I thought were moderators. So go ahead, check and see. Hey, Steve. The wrench means that you can drop a link in the chat. You can also hide comments if they're inappropriate, and we can time people out. But I prefer my moderators don't time anybody out. And it's only if there's bad language or spam that we would hide someone. But basically, you now can copy and paste your channel link into the chat. Yep, DJ looks like it. Well, you know what, DJ? Everybody here is part of the extended family, right? So, I feel like I know a lot of these people because I watch them all so much. I guess we all have to be careful of that too, right? Because, you're blue. Yeah. We do have to be careful sometimes, all of us, how many people we make blue, right? Because there's always risk, but you know what? I guess you would learn quick enough. I'm trying to see if there's anyone that I miss that has a channel. But for the chat, Shanna has a question right now. Is it difficult putting a tire monitoring system on? Should I get a tire professional to do it? Anyone got a favorite brand? Does anyone want to pop up and answer maybe that question for her? I'm not sure if John is coming back. You time yourself out, Bob. Oh, wait, here he comes, here he comes. Oh, we're so excited. Hello.
One more time.
No, it's all good. I had everybody dropping their links and the family's growing. There was another question though. Can I quickly ask it before I lose it?
Yes.
Is it difficult putting a tire monitoring system on? Like, should you get a professional to do that?
So you want to add an aftermarket tire sensor?
Yeah, I think that's what she's asking.
Either way, yeah, definitely. You have to put in order to get a tire pressure monitoring system, you actually have to put it inside the tire. It replaces your valve stem, or it uses a band sensor that wraps around the wheel. So yes, definitely have a professional do, unless you have the equipment to break down a tire and put a sensor in and reprogram it. Yeah, it's not something you can really do yourself.
All right. Well, Adventure RV Adventure, he has a video on that. So that is some place that you guys can go take a look at that as well.
Cool.
All right. So let's get back to these buses. What's the story on these?
So those were two that we also looked at today. They came from the same place. These are a little bit older model buses, but I kind of wanted to advertise a little bit. Those are up for sale right now and maybe in my driveway soon enough. So If anybody's looking for a bus, I've got a couple contacts right now just because I've been looking so long. So buses are a big thing. A lot of people are getting into skoolies, and I will touch a little bit more on the market on skoolies in a little bit, and the market on ambulances, because it's changing. COVID is officially affecting the prices of these vehicles for sure.
So you think so? COVID's making everything become more expensive because there's more demand.
Yes, for sure. And it not only that, but schools are being forced to sell buses, and daycares are being forced to sell buses. And it's actually driving up the price. It's just driving up the market. The days of the $2,000 to $3,500 school buses, we're probably on the last days of seeing those prices ever again. $6,000 to $10,000 for a used bus is really the going
How
average.
long are these?
So the one on the right, that Ford bus there, is a 28-footer, 32 passenger. And then the International on the left is a 44 passenger. I believe it's 32 feet.
I swear they look the size of my main floor of my house.
They're huge. Yeah, they're huge.
Oh wow. That would be so I don't think I could drive one of those.
It's
honestly.
fun. I drove it in Atlanta traffic today, so.
Well, I'll let you keep all that fun, John. So what's the scoop with this?
So that was me inspecting. It's quite a process, I will say, to inspect a skoolie. There's a lot of things you got to look for. There's a lot of requirements that schoolies legally have to have. So, and not only that, that's a big diesel motor right there. That's a 6.6 Ford motor, big inline 6 diesel motor. And if you don't know what you're looking for, you can really end up with a lemon.
Oh, I imagine. Now, what's the scoop here? Are you towing?
No. So that's my wife and my daughter in the back. That's my Nissan Titan that they're driving in there. But I had dirt bikes with me, so we went on. That was last week's trip that we went on. So we had to have some way to carry 2 dirt bikes. So we needed to take the pickup truck as well as the ambulance.
Well, it's really nice to see these pictures because then I can compare it to mine while we chat, right? Like this first one here. These doors look very much the same. The very first door in the box at the bottom, is that where your batteries are? Your house or your motor batteries?
No, motor batteries are under the hood for me.
Oh.
Yep. No, all of
So you don't have a battery space in that door?
No.
Oh.
No, mine's an F-Series. With mine being an F-Series, which the difference between an F-Series and an E-Series, obviously the E-Series, the van, and the F-Series is the pickup truck style. E-Series, really, they pack a lot into the van. So, I mean, even the backside of the engine has to be accessed through the inside of the cab. Whereas that hood is a lot longer on the F-Series, so you can fit the batteries and all that stuff under there, and it works just fine.
Well, I see you definitely look like you got better door handles on the back. You know what? This door, the only door on the side that you get in and out of with the window, my handle broke. That is going to be my next video, me trying to figure out how to fix mine. And mine's like not that sturdy metal like that.
What kind of box, what's your box manufacturer? I think we talked about this.
Dimmers, D-E-M-E-R. It's Canadian, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Although we only have one ambulance shop like that in the province, so.
Right. I know up in Canada there's a lot of guys that have the Horton boxes. Most of the Canadian guys that I follow on the ambulance pages, they've got Horton boxes, and that seems to be pretty common. My box is the E1. There's things I like about the E1 box, and then there's things I definitely don't. But the accessory handles and like the inner door placarding and things like that, it's all really, really heavy duty steel. Even the inside, all my doors are diamond plate. So really, really nice.
All right. I had to see. Hello, Nomadic Hippie. Thanks for being here. Oh my gosh.
Sorry about the internet issues.
No, I'm just thinking, I'm looking at yours and I'm like, it's just reminding me how much I have to do on mine. You don't have a roof vent on that yet, hey?
No, and the main reason I don't is because I've actually got 2 ventilation systems that are built into my box and already hardwired in, and there's 2 vents. One goes out the front, one goes out the back, and the front, it just circulates air. So I just flip a
You
switch.
did that?
No, it was built into that E1 box, which was, again, that's one of the things I really like about the E1 box is the ventilation and auxiliary vent system. Really, really nice. Moves air really well. If I roll down the windows in the front, turn that vent on, it's sucking fresh air to the back quickly.
Huh. See, I don't have that, and all I have for a window in the back is that little half window on the side of this door.
Okay. Yeah, we've got a window up there, and then we've got 2 sliding windows in the back door as well. So, I mean, it doesn't get very warm in there if you keep circulation. I mean, other than running AC and things like that, if you keep circulation on it, it does very, very well. Moves air very nice. The dogs love it back there.
Awesome. Hello, Blind Fuse. Thank you for coming in. Oh, what year is that ambulance? Yours?
It's a 1996. It's a 7.3 liter diesel.
Oh, you got the 7.3. Of course
Wouldn't have it
you
any other way.
did. Yeah, see, this is why people like me need people like you.
Yeah, I love a 7.3. I've worked on many 7.3s, and they're an intelligently designed diesel motor, and I really, really enjoy them. And I think that kind of leads us into the buyer's guide talk as far as what to look for, what not to look for. You know, the biggest thing, I've enclosed trailers, vans, skoolies, ambulances, everything that I'm working with right now, my biggest thing is quality. You don't want to buy anything that's a 1985 and it squeaks every time you turn and it leaks oil like crazy. You're just going to end up coming out of pocket so much to save a little bit at the initial sale. So quality, I can't push quality enough. You know,
and you're talking motor though, right? Engine?
Not always. I mean, boxes, you know, the accessories on the boxes, like what you were talking about with the handles breaking and things like that. And not saying anything that your quality is bad, but those are the things that I look for and I recommend to clients. You know, if somebody sends me a picture of a, you know, an older van or something that has, you know, like a non-turbo diesel motor or something, sure, they'll have fun in it, but at what cost? You know, you may spend $3,500 on something that's a 1990 Ford F-350 that's a non-turbo diesel. And sure, it's fun for camping locally and things like that. But if you ever want a road trip, I mean, that thing's going to struggle with fuel mileage. It's going to struggle getting up hills. So I go for the good motors. I go for the tried and true. You know, if it has an Allison transmission, if it has a 7.3 liter diesel, or if it has a Cummins 5.9 liter, or, you know, a 6.0. 6.0s are not bad motors as long as you take care of a 6.0 the way a 6.0 should be taken care of. I think everything gets a bad rep as far as 6.0s go, but they are good motors and they can be very, very good motors.
Well, I've got like 268,000 miles on it.
That's awesome. Well, and the
which
way I
is
look
like
at it is
450,000 kilometers.
well, the best
saying it miles.
The best news is if it hasn't broke yet, it probably won't. It's kind of
been repaired.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. But I mean, with quality, that's the biggest thing I always tell people. You don't want to end up investing in something that is going to be a nightmare. Just like if you buy a fixer-upper home for $30,000, you're going to have to put probably $60,000 into that home in order to make it livable and have the creature comforts that you want. And it's it's very, very similar if you buy a $2,500 bus or a $2,500 ambulance. You're going to have to probably spend triple that just in modifications to make it reliable, livable, and not leak. You know, these are all things you can get away by doing budget builds, but if you don't know what to look for, you can really get burned on it for sure.
Well, and the thing is too, whether it's a vehicle conversion or your house, you can, I can buy that fixer upper and put the money in. But if I can't do it myself, it makes no sense. Right? If I can do it myself, then, you know, you're getting a little more value out of it. But yeah, if you got to pay someone on top of everything you're doing, it just becomes crazy.
Yeah. And, you know, it was kind of like my ambulance. I paid very, very little for my ambulance at 1996. And the reason why I did it, I've got a cool story behind that, but it was having transmission issues. And I knew on the test drive it was having transmission issues. And I didn't know exactly what it would take to fix it, but I was confident enough to know that, okay, if I have to replace the transmission, it's X amount of dollars. So I entered it in with a mindset of, here's my budget. Here's the cost of the vehicle. I can fill the rest of my budget with replacing the transmission, the build out, things like that. And I came in under budget. I was lucky enough to kind of fix a couple things, and I knew a couple fixes on those transmissions on that truck that would fix it, and it's still cruising. So I'm going to keep riding with it.
So what are some of the different issues you have to look at when you're looking at a school bus? Like, we've talked a lot about ambulances already, but you're so much more than that.
Yeah. So big thing with school buses, and just like any other vehicle, but everything is bigger on a school bus. So if you've got 6 bald tires on a school bus, they're not $120 tires. Those 11R22.5s, which is the tire size, those big tires that they have, I mean, they're 53 inches tall. I mean, they come up to my belly button. I mean, they're big, big tires. And if you've got 6 bald tires, that's about $1,800 to $2,000 you have to put in to make it reliable enough to drive it.
Wow. And that's before you even have it running. Right,
exactly. I mean, that's just walking up and looking at it. And then another thing you have to look for is maintenance records. And there are good school bus motors. There's bad school bus motors, just like, there's more desirable ambulance motors, less desirable ambulance motors. There's certain ones that have bigger issues than others. So you have to know what to look for as far as the tall tale signs. But the cooling system on a bus is a big deal. They tend to run hot because they have heaters in the back. And so you've got all this hose and all these gallons of coolant that are running through that system. And if you've got a contaminant or a blockage somewhere in that, that's a big deal for a school bus. And fixing it is even more expensive. Transmissions on the school buses, they're great. They're usually Allison transmissions, which Allison transmission is one of my favorite transmissions and probably one of the best ones back behind a diesel motor. But that's something you have to look for, because if an Allison transmission goes bad, it's not a $1,500 transmission. It's closer to a $3,500 to $4,500 trans.
Ooh. Maddie, just so you know, John Dobbs doesn't have a channel. The last time he was on here, we all tried to convince him, but he wouldn't. But we do have, underneath our pictures, we do have his email if you want to contact him, or you can get a hold of him through Facebook.
Please. Yeah, and I encourage everybody, the reason why I don't have a YouTube channel or don't have a business channel or things like that, I enjoy what I do, and I'm passionate about it, and I want to do it for the people that want to listen. And that's why I come on your show, is because everybody that comments, everybody that tunes in are people that are engaged, interested 100%. And I feel like I'm contributing. So
hey, they are here to see you. I have 35 people watching right now. Hello, Kathleen.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
That's a big difference from when you first came on and nobody knew who you were yet.
Well, thank you all. And I squished my head back down. It's already big enough, but thank you guys so much. But no, I right now, realistically, whether somebody's buying an enclosed trailer, I'm working with my buddy right now, looking for a 6x12 enclosed trailer that we're going to do a kind of a quick little camping tiny home build out of, and kind of off-road it and have kayak mounting stuff on it, and have all the outdoorsman stuff on that. We're going to gear that towards more like Jeep guys. And then I'm working on my van in my driveway. Just bought a skoolie with one of my clients today. Got my ambulance sitting outside, and I've got probably 3 or 4 other people that are interested in either converting a van that they already have, or buying a van or a bus or an ambulance to convert. So my biggest passion and working with right now, and I saw a question pop up when we were kind of having internet issues. What I do, I'm passionate about helping people get into this lifestyle. And I think the biggest question that you see anybody in skoolie groups, ambulance groups, anybody in van groups is, where do I start?
Yeah.
And how much money, and what kind of vehicle, and how do I do the floors? And there's always this how-to. And once they get the bus, they already know how to do it, but they don't share their knowledge with anybody. Once they have it, they don't even really look back on the pages or anything. And so my goal is, if you want me to find you a van or a bus or an ambulance and help you through that process, or even talk about that process, that's what I want to be there for. But if you also want to go to the furthest extent of that and say, hey, I want you to locate, inspect, purchase, deliver, build out a skoolie or an ambulance, I can do as much or as little of that process. I've got a crew right now that's assembled that if we need to build out a bus, we're ready to build out a bus. If you want to build out a van, we're ready to build out a van.
See, this question's a really general question, DJ. How much does it cost to buy something, and then how much for the conversion? let's say I guess it depends what's all in it too and which unit it is, because an ambulance is going to have a different cost to purchase than a bus, and what size of bus and what size of van and what's all put in it.
Well, and
Huh.
I think cost is really one of those things. And it kind of leads into my talking point about the market right now with buying something. So we'll kind of start there. Depending on what platform, you can buy an enclosed trailer for $1,000 to $1,500 on Facebook Marketplace. See them all the time. You can buy good vans that run good for 120,000 miles. You can buy them all day for $5,000 on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, or in a yard that you pass by. So the market's there. But the utilitarian style vehicles like ambulances and buses and things like that are actually, they're going up in price. I've seen probably a 25 to 30% spike in price of school buses.
Really? Just even since the
Yeah.
last time I had you on here?
Yes. I mean, I was looking at ambulances pretty regularly for $4,500 to $5,500 here southeast. So Florida, South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina, Alabama. They were they were surplus. You could find probably 10 that were in that price range and all about the same mileage. And now it has shifted where I can't hardly find anything for under $6 with ambulances.
I guess as they become more common, there's more demand.
Well, not only that, but the departments, the hospitals, the private ambulance people, because they've been so affected by COVID financially, they're more likely to hang on to their older ambulances now. Instead of buying 20 or 30 new ambulances and retiring the rest, they're more likely to hang on to them. And the same can be said about school districts. There's a school district here in Metro Atlanta. They sell about 50 to 60 buses a year. And right now at auction, I'm only seeing maybe 10 to 15. So
really?
They're cutting back because it's an expense. And when a school district is struggling and they don't have the income, they don't have the lunch money, they don't have the kids in the classroom anymore, they're having to pay, they don't necessarily have the resources, and the buses are the very last thing. And especially with digital learning and things like that, they're not necessarily selling them. They're hanging on to their old buses because there's no reason to buy brand new buses when there's no kids in the seats to that bus.
Oh yeah, all those things I never thought of.
Yeah.
Do you know if there's much of a difference between U.S. and Canadian ambulances, or is it just mostly by who makes them?
It's usually box manufacturer. And realistically, I'll say this, even the States is kind of broke into quadrants. So there's a lot of buses that are manufactured up north that I don't see down here in the South, and vice versa. And there's a lot of West Coast manufacturers that I don't see here in the South. So the ones I see here in the South are Bronze. I see E1s, MedTech boxes. Those are usually the manufacturers that I see. I see a couple Peach State boxes and things like that, but I hardly ever see a Horton. And really, Bronze are kind of hit or miss. So there's a lot of difference between U.S. buses, not just between Canadian and U.S. There's a bunch of difference between those, ambulances. Big difference.
So we have a question: are city buses as expensive as school buses? And then I'm thinking, geez, do you even see city buses for sale very often?
Yeah, so I'm actually in the market for one. I'm buying one and then renovating it and putting it up on our hill for our daughter's kind of move out house when she turns 18. We're going to renovate a city bus. But as far as city buses go, they're actually really, really cheap. And the reason why they're really, really cheap is because they don't retire them until either they're 25 years old or they've got 500,000 miles on them.
Oh, so they're willing to let the mileage run up on those but they're always in the city, right? So it's not like they're out on the highways if there was something that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is my brother, actually. He wouldn't mind an ambulance, but he's pretty sure now he's not going to get the same deal that I got when I bought mine.
Yeah, I think, and realistically, the buses that I looked at today, those are the last 3 buses that I have seen on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, anywhere, and even really at auction. I mean, most of the buses at auction right now are going for anywhere from $4,500 to $7,500 at auction, and then you've still got auction fees on top of that. But I see a lot of buses that are in the $7,500 to $10,000 range. These were the last buses that I've seen in the 3,000 to 5,500 range for sure. And I've been looking
Wow.
for months now.
Hello RT Dude says once he has a step van that he's making a mobile studio. Once he gets out on the road, he said he'd love to come by and witness a build project, maybe give a hand where you can. And hello RT Dude, you can always email John with that email address that's just below my picture here.
We're friends on Facebook too, and
oh, you
man,
are? Okay.
Please, I would love to have him up. I've got places to camp. I've got an extra bed to stay in. So please, yes, no, I again, this is all about community with me and helping people. I love the interaction. I like the people of the like mindset. And again, I'm manifesting this. I want everybody to know that this is my life. This is what I enjoy. This is my passion. And I don't ever mind talking about it. It's turned into a business, but
you and I had discussed about taking some questions at the end, but oh my goodness, there's been questions nonstop. I've even missed some, John. People are just, they got so many questions for you. Every time something comes up, there's a new question.
Well, and I appreciate that.
What do you think about the airport shuttles?
They're good. I think they're usually under-maintained. I've looked at a couple. I've looked at probably 5 or 6 of them, and the one common thing that I've seen is they run those things ragged because if they're not on the road, they're not making money. And if they're not on the road, they're not getting serviced. So, or if they are on the road, they're not getting serviced. And that's the biggest thing I run into is I've seen them where pull an air filter out, and it looks like it's probably been 5 or 6 years since that thing's been changed. And that's a big deal. I mean, that maintenance on any vehicle, the best vehicle could be ruined with poor maintenance.
I love this. Your wife says that you guys will definitely film when you do your daughter's future home.
Yeah, that's going to be a heck of a project. We're cutting into the side of a mountain for that thing and like putting it up on a big hill. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I've got farmers with bulldozers and stuff, so we get crazy over here.
You're so creative. I love it. How secure do you feel like the skoolie doors are on the side there?
Pretty secure. I mean, most of them.
Do you think they're as secure as my ambulance doors?
No. But the way I look at it is this: is if somebody wants to get in bad enough to either take something or hurt somebody, there's always windows that can be broken on even an ambulance, a car, whatever. I mean, security is one of those things that in any vehicle you want to ramp up. But I don't fear skoolies. The school bus that we drove home today, you latch the front door, you crawl out the back, and then there's a padlock hinge that you can lock on the back door.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, unless they break the window, they're not really getting in.
Oh, look at this.
So yeah, skoolies can be secured.
500,000 miles on a diesel engine isn't all that much, especially if it's been well maintained. There's a lot of 18-wheelers on the road with 2 to 5 million miles on them, for real?
It's true. And yeah, I mean, definitely, but you also have to account, it may be the original motor, but there's been injectors, fuel lines, all the rubber gas, may have even had a top end rebuild, things like that. I mean, diesel engines well maintained. 500,000 miles is not that much for a diesel engine. The 7.3 has been tokened multiple times as the million-mile motor. And yeah. I agree with that. And a 5.9 Cummins is a million-mile motor to me as well. So, I mean, well-maintained, any vehicle, I think the biggest thing that people fall into is once a vehicle reaches 200,000 miles, it's at the end of its life. And if it's been poorly maintained, if it's been neglected, abused, whatever, absolutely, 100%, 200,000 miles is at the upper echelon of its life. But if it's been maintained, well maintained, I only have one vehicle out in my driveway, two vehicles out in my driveway right now that have under 200,000 miles, and they all run great. But I am meticulous.
Both my units have more than that too.
Yeah. I'm meticulous about maintaining, and not only that, but I'm meticulous about research on different types of oils, the right oil filters, the right air filters, upgrading things so that if there's any restrictions in the airflow coming into the engine, I handle those right away, because there are weak links on every engine, every transmission, every vehicle. There's no such thing as a perfect vehicle. There's always weak links, but as long as you know how to maneuver around those, maintain those, repair those, upgrade those, you'll be just fine.
So I'm just going to ask everyone to maybe hang on if there's any specific questions for John. Because, John, I just want to get a little bit more of the information you have on, the whole buyer's guide thing.
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest thing with buyers is confidence. You have to be confident in what you want. And with the same confidence, I think that it's big on flexibility as well. With my friend Carolyn and my client Carolyn, she is, again, she's a dear friend to me. Her whole family is the best. And that was that green interior van, black van that I helped her find. When we first met, this was probably 6 months ago when we first met. And it was a quick, hey, can you run into Atlanta and check out this high top handicap van with me? And I said, yeah, no problem. So I ran into Atlanta that night. We checked out this high top van, didn't work. And so her son and I all sat on the sidewalk for like 45 minutes in the middle of downtown Atlanta and talked about what her needs were, what her wants were, what her budget was. And we just kind of went through those things. And I said, well, let's expand our search from vans. Let's maybe look at ambulances. So she started out with vans. We looked at ambulance, got discouraged on multiple ambulances. And that was right around the time that the market was climbing on ambulances. So we kind of shifted gears, and I'm so happy that she was flexible with the platform. And you kind of have to be, unless you've got infinite amounts of money and a huge budget and you know what you want, you don't care what you have to pay for it, and you're just going to throw your money at it. If you're working on a budget, you kind of have to be flexible a little bit, whether it's the wood you use on the build out, the platform you get, whatever. So she was super flexible. We struck out on a bunch of ambulances. And then finally we found this awesome van up in Tennessee. My wife, my daughter and I, we all went up to Nashville, picked up this van, had a great experience driving it back to her. And she ended up loving this van. And it all
awesome.
It happened organically because she started out with a high top van. We went to ambulances. We spent 3 months on ambulances, didn't work out. And then she ended up back in a high top van, but we waited on that right one. We didn't make any impulsive buys. We didn't make any rash decisions.
Well, she wouldn't be second guessing herself because she explored other options before going back to her original idea, right? So she just had much more confidence in her purchase.
Right. And even with my client today, Allison, with the school bus, her and I have looked at short buses, real short buses, like, 15 passenger. Then a couple weeks ago, we went over to Alabama and we looked at a big limo, like shuttle bus that kind of looked like a trolley. And then these kind of popped up, the skoolie today. And we said, well, let's go look at this skoolie. And it happened organically just because of her flexibility. And if you're on a budget, flexibility is a big deal. Like I said, if you've got $40,000 to throw at a conversion vehicle, sky's the limit. You can pretty much get whatever you want. You can have whatever creature comforts you want. Sky's the limit. But if you've got, a build can be done on $3,000. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it to people. It's not always a huge expense. It's not always a $10,000 excursion. Sometimes it's a $3,500 excursion. And then that leads into the next thing. And then you can build that out bigger. And you can start with a very, very small budget and get what you want. You just may have to make sacrifices. It may not be a 32 passenger school bus. It may be a 15 passenger school bus, or it may not be an ambulance. It may be a high top van, or, it may not even be a high top van. It may just be an enclosed trailer, and that you haul behind your vehicle and gets you out in the wild and gets you camping, gets you out in the woods and gives you a little bit of freedom outside of your home. My big thing is home on wheels. I always like to have a vehicle in my arsenal to run out into the woods, take a 24-hour camping trip, run up to North Georgia, deep into the Appalachian Mountains, 15 miles of gravel roads and mud pits and everything like that, just to go dirt biking for 2 hours and then sleep that night. So it's just about getting out into the wild. And sometimes you make a bigger deal out of it in the purchase that it needs to be. If you've got a $10,000 budget, great, but still let's keep that platform cost down. You don't want to spend $9,000 and only have $1,000 to put on the inside of this beautiful exterior vehicle.
I think though, if you're going to cut costs, the interior stuff's easier. Like for me, I was thinking I for sure want my solar. That's one of my biggest costs. That was one of the things I had to make sure that I got first. There's still things I can do on the inside, but it's more cosmetic stuff, right? And I
Right.
guess
And
maybe
it's
some of
future
that
comfort.
is reflected in this question, like excluding the price of the bus, how much would it cost to convert a regular bus to a skoolie? It kind of depends, right?
Again, that kind of boils down to what kind of deal you can find, what kind of materials you're going to use. Are you going to have solar? Are you going to have a tub? Are you going to have gray tanks? Are you going to have fresh water tanks? Are you doing a full conversion, or are you just doing something that you can take over to a NASCAR race and camp out of for 2 or 3 days and then park it, for 3 months before the next time you use it? So, I mean, if you want to convert a skoolie into a tiny home and have all the creature comforts, I think a reasonable budget for anybody is, if you're thrifty, $10,000 to $12,000.
For the
If you
build.
are, purchase of the vehicle and the build.
Oh, both?
If you're thrifty.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I a lot of people, again, a lot of people take it, they can go $40,000, $50,000. Don't get me wrong. But I am all about Goodwills. I'm all about thrift stores. I'm all about antique malls. I'm all about reclaimed. I'm all about stripping nails out of pallets and stuff so you can have hardwood on the walls, and using old countertops that came out of a construction house that somebody didn't want, a new construction house. Like, I'm all about reclaimed materials, and I think if you do it that way, your budget becomes kind of infinite, because if you can find a lot of your building materials for free, your game's ahead. I mean, you'd be surprised at some of the stuff that I find for free. For instance, that cedar floor that we were looking at, a piece of cedar. If you go into Home Depot or Lowe's or anything like that, you can get a 1x6 premium cedar board that's 16 feet long. It's $30. $30 for a one piece of cedar that could only do 2 planks of floor realistically. And what I did instead is I used picket fencing cedar. So the privacy fence dog-eared pickets, I cut the dog ears off of it. I spent an extra 2 hours sanding the boards. My wife did. I didn't. She sanded all the boards, and now we've got a premium cedar floor for $3 a board rather than $15 to $20 a board. So knowing your market, and that's another thing. Lumber is going up as well. I don't want to play these scare tactics too much, but skoolies are going up, ambulances are going up, but lumber is expensive. And anybody that's looked at Home Depot and gone in to buy a piece of plywood, it's not cheap. So
I feel like everything's going up.
Yeah, no, it
Everything's
is.
going up. You know what, John? When you talk about reusing things, I literally have a kitchen table for a bed.
Nice.
I had an old kitchen table. I just chopped the legs down and used it in addition to the seat that I already had in there. And there's my bed. It cost me nothing. It looks ridiculous if you look underneath, but for now, it works for me.
Though?
Oh, the foam.
It
Yeah, it makes no difference what's underneath, right? It's the foam that I bought that made the difference for the comfort. For sure.
Then it doesn't matter.
Because you can do those and trade them off.
Yeah. No, I'll tell you, I think my biggest thing is budget. I don't have a very large budget with anything that I do. So, I mean, anything that I find I have to either grind for, hustle for, figure stuff out that maybe is a little outside of the box and kooky. I mean, the inside of my ambulance, I've stressed about wall coverings. I was like, man, what do I cover up the wall with? What do I make it look cool? Because we're artsy folks and we do a lot. So I just started cutting pieces of lumber, sticking it up there, took some old antique license plates, hammered those up there, took some bottle caps, hammered those up there. And I get more compliments that people walk in and they're like, oh man, this is like an antique mall in here. And that's kind of our lifestyle. That's our house. I mean, if anybody watches American Pickers, we are kind of the hippie American Pickers. We love flea markets. I love digging through people's old barns and, just digging through stuff. And I've got a lot of cool farmers up the road that, I mean, one of my best friends is an 83-year-old man. And he calls me all the time and he's like, hey man, I just cut a bunch of lumber. You want it? Yep, absolutely. So and as long as you manifest that stuff and kind of put it out there, I mean, it's easy to hop on Facebook Marketplace now and just put in search of pallet wood or in search of leftover flooring or leftover cabinets or, hey, are you gutting a house? And it's amazing that people will just give it to you if you can haul it off.
Well, some people are just looking to get rid of it.
Most people, I mean, if they take cabinets out of their house, most people don't want those things hanging around. So they'll give them to people. No problem. And same thing with lumber. I mean, construction crews and things like that, they end up with this extra lumber. They don't take that back to Home Depot because it's already written off on taxes. So you can get their scrap 2x4s that are, under 4 feet long and use those as part of your build out. Anywhere where
I
you
never
can cut
even thought of that.
Yes. I am very thrifty. And I think if there's any one of my friends that is on this video other than my wife and watching this, they can attest and say, yep, he's probably one of the thriftiest guys. And I just end up like, the van that's sitting out my driveway, I wasn't intending to buy a van on my birthday, but it just kind of happened organically and it was inexpensive. So
it's like, happy birthday to me.
But thriftiness will get you really, really far in the game as far as converting goes. And not only that, we kind of touched on it last time. If you blueprint something to death, it's going to be blueprinted to death. And most of the time I enter, just like this conversation, I didn't really write notes or anything like that. I try to let the conversation, right. I try to let the conversation go where it needs to go. And I kind of enter build the same way in purchases of vehicles. If you walk up and the vehicle's not a good vehicle, we don't even really need to inspect it. Let's just shake hands and walk away from it. So you don't need to emotionally invest into that. And the same thing with blueprinting out a build. If you want your bed this height, this width and everything, you don't even have the bus in front of you, all it's going to do is when it's time to build, you're going to disappoint yourself.
Mm-hmm. So do you keep the people that you're doing a build for someone, do you keep bringing them into the project as it's going along? Because I know for myself, I've changed my interior major layout stuff a gazillion times, just figuring out what works for me. Because at first I was trying to do what I saw online.
Yep.
Right. And now I'm realizing, that doesn't work for me as a person. I
have as little or as much involvement in the purchase, inspection, build out. Like I said, I can do as little as helping you look on Facebook Marketplace and telling you whether or not something's worth going to look at, to looking at it in person, inspecting it, to delivering it across country, to building it out at my house and delivering it to you completely done, painted, whatever color you want it to do. I can do anything in between. So as little involvement as a client wants me to have, or the most involvement a client wants me to have, that's what I do. So if they want to tell me what color they want the curtains will be that color. If they want to tell me what color the bus is, the bus will be that color. If they want cedar floors, they'll have cedar floors. If they want LVP floors, waterproof, they've got pets, they don't want anything to scratch, we'll use that. It's all just kind of, it's personal. And again, sometimes they don't even want me to do it. Like the lady that I helped buy the bus today, I'm not really going to help her with a build out. She's already got a plan, but her biggest thing is she didn't know what to look for. She didn't really want to drive it home after she bought it. And that's where I came in. I went and looked at this bus with her. I told her, there was a couple things here and there that, hey, this may be an issue. This may not be an issue. This is a really great price on this bus. And I even helped her negotiate. Ended up saving her like $750 today. So we go, I can do whatever. Hey? That's kind of, if you don't know what you're doing in any part of that build out process, that's where I want to come in. So if you don't know where to look, I want to help you. If you don't know how to build it out, I want to help you. If you don't know what wood to use, I want to help you. Hey, if you just want me to strip the seats and lay flooring down and then you do the rest, I'm cool with that too. As little or as much as you want me to do it in part of your build out, that's what I'm here for.
So is cedar wood very heavy? Like, did you have to use fairly thin boards, or like, how do you know when you're putting too much weight in?
Cedar's really, really light, which is another reason why I went with cedar, is because it is a pretty light wood. It's not very dense. It's just kind of airy. So cedar's a great wood. LVP obviously is really, really light. But as far as weight goes, and that's a question I get a lot, like how much, man, I don't want to build this all out of this plywood because it's so heavy. You really have to think, like if you're building out an ambulance. So for instance, on my ambulance, I built a sturdy bed for my daughter. It's really, really thick. It's a bunch of 2x4s put together, beefy bed, but I wanted it so then that way she could jump on it, pounce on it, do whatever she wanted to, and it's not going to break. But everybody said, as soon as they saw pictures of it, they said, oh man, that's so heavy. So the way I talk to them is, yes, the bed is heavy, but my ambulance doesn't have oxygen tanks in it. It doesn't have a stretcher in it. It doesn't have any passengers except for my family. It doesn't have any of the medical supplies. So I'm still, even with the addition of that bed and 3 dogs and 3 people, I'm still way under the weight that an ambulance would operate on if it was in, if it was in service.
Hmm. Well, that's one of
So
the things I like about having an ambulance personally is that I feel like I can put more stuff in it if I want because so much had already been taken out, let alone what I took out. Whereas if I was trying to do some of the stuff I have in the ambulance in a van, I don't know that a van would handle what I got going in there.
right, and that's, but another thing with the van, if so, like this Astro van, I'm adding some stuff to it, and it's not really a heavy duty Astro van. But one of the biggest buying points on this Astro van is I looked under there, and the guy had already updated the rear shocks to spring shocks that were load adjusting, and he already updated the
Oh,
front. So you can upgrade your suspension to make your towing capacity, hauling capacity, and cargo capacity higher.
I
You just have to
guess.
know how to do it. And it's the same thing with skoolies. You know, a lot of people will say, "Oh, don't put that much natural wood in a skoolie," or "Oh man, those cabinets look bulky and heavy." Well, I mean, if it's a bus, it's naturally going to haul 44 kids, most of the time teenagers, which are 100 pounds apiece. Let's just say every kid's 100 pound apiece. That's
Hmm.
4,400 pounds.
Yeah.
So it's normally going to operate at that anyway. And if you're stripping out that really all the seats, which every single seat in a school bus that I've ever ripped out has been 50 pounds plus, just because it's metal railing and really sturdy and bolted to the floor. So you're also getting rid of that weight. You're also getting rid of the rubberized flooring weight, and you're stripping it down to kind of the bones of things. So as far as weight goes, as long as you have a compensation plan for the weight, you're
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah, I guess just the weight of the seats alone out of there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. Because, yeah, I mean, so it's 44 passenger, 2 kids a seat, so it's 22 seats. And if they're 50 pounds apiece, there you go again. I mean, you're losing quite a bit of weight in kids in operating, because I mean, a bus it has to be able to operate with weight on it. I mean, there's
Hmm.
kids, there's seats. It's got to be able to operate with weight on it. So the springs, if you ever get under a bus, the springs are just thick, and there's tons of them. So unless you are noticing, unless you stack it up with concrete, I don't think you can really be overweight. I mean, unless you're really, really hauling stuff. And I see some conversions are even hauling trailers with race cars attached to it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I wouldn't say ignore weight, but I wouldn't stress too much on, oh, I'm going to be so heavy if I use this natural wood, or I'm going to be so heavy if I add water tanks, or, you kind of have to compensate for that. If you're doing it, you beef up your suspension, you beef up your steering, you beef up your brakes if you're doing that in a smaller platform. But just be cautious about it, but don't necessarily kill ideas and not put beautiful stuff in there because you think it weighs too much.
That's good to know. It's very good to know. You know what,
Yeah,
John? I already have you longer than I promised I would, but I don't want to let you go quite yet.
it's all right.
So let's say
No,
we
that's
had
okay. We
15
can chat.
minutes. What would you really want us to know when we're looking for something? Like, what are some other key points? The tires, for sure, I never even thought of.
Well, and I'm going to kind of give this into a lead in, and I'm not going to toot my own horn on this, but there's a difference between somebody that's a technician and somebody that's a mechanic. And
Okay.
I'll kind of tell you the difference, and I'll give you a lead into where I'm going with this. But a technician is somebody that works in automotive and they put parts on. They're a technician. They just replace parts that are bad. A mechanic is somebody who understands the mechanical aspect and how a vehicle works, down to what makes the wheels in the back turn. How does that power get from the engine to the wheels, and how does it displace,
Okay.
and how does it work, and why does it work, and what are all the parts that are associated with that. So getting a mechanic and somebody who is familiar with the buses, familiar with the ambulances, familiar with the vans, to inspect the vehicle before you purchase it. I can't stress that enough, because if you are not mechanically inclined enough to know whether something is broken, on its way to breaking, if something's not right, and I'll go back to the difference between a technician and a mechanic. A technician knows what part he needs to replace. A mechanic knows
Mm-hmm.
by his ear. He can be riding down the road and say, "Oh, that's a wheel bearing going bad," or "Oh, there's a little bit of a valve tick there." You just know, because you're so familiar with vehicles and how a vehicle works, that you know when something's amiss. And a lot of times, if you don't have the required equipment, electrically, Computerized equipment is big in purchasing any vehicle with modern electronics. So if you don't have people, I have all of that. I have computer scanners, computerized scanners, and things like that to help me actually plug into the vehicle and see if there's anything happening. But you have to hire somebody, and it's worth its weight in gold to hire somebody to come out and look at it.
How would I know what range of prices to expect someone to charge me to do that?
Call around, and there's a lot of mobile mechanics. You can go onto Google and you can say, hey, I'm thinking about buying a bus, and look for a diesel mobile mechanic and say, hey, what experience do you have with buses? Have you ever worked on them? Or call down to the local daycare places and say, hey, who do you have work on your buses? And find local automotive shop and say, okay, I'm going to take it over there. I'm going to call them and see how much they would charge me to bring this bus to them before I purchase it and inspect it for me. So find somebody that's familiar in your area. And yes, there's some mechanics that say, yeah, I can do that. And then they're not really cracked up to be, but it's better to have somebody put eyes on it that's familiar with it and has a good reputation. Check on Google. And pretty much everything's transparent now. You can look at Google reviews and tell pretty quick whether or not you want to take your vehicle somewhere.
Yeah, but it depends on the size of your community. Even for me, in the community that I live in, I knew there's one particular mechanic in town that has a really, really good name in the whole community for many years. I took my ambulance there, and he doesn't work on diesels. I was like, dang. So then here I was like, now what do I do? So I ended up taking it specifically to a Ford dealership because I did not know. I mean, they just test drove it and told me the things I was worried about seemed good. So then I just felt reassured because I wasn't used to driving something so big. But it isn't as easy sometimes finding someone that can help.
Well, and I'm not going to knock the dealership. The dealership has their place. They're going to be higher priced. But as far as knowledge, they usually, they built the vehicle. They have knowledge of those vehicles pretty well. But, I don't take my stuff anywhere. Obviously, I can do all the stuff myself. But I know probably 15 reputable shops within, a 10-mile radius, 15-mile radius of me that I would recommend a client to go to if I was busy or anything like that. But there are some independent guys out there that are mobile mechanics like myself. And I can tell you this as well. And as far as how much it should cost, and how it depends on how much they do. And that goes back to as little of involvement or as much involvement as you want. I can go cross country. I can go anywhere in the United States. I can check out anything you want me to check out. I'm happy to do it. I can drive anywhere you need me to drive. I can check anything out. I wish I could cross borders and come up to you guys in Canada, but I can't. Hopefully soon. I don't know when that's happening, but
you better wait till at least
just
summer.
To kind of give you an example.
Okay.
Right. Just to kind of give you an example, if I'm running, let's say I'm running 2 hours from my house and somebody wants me to check out an ambulance and just check it out. They don't want me to negotiate or anything like that. They just want me to come, look at it, mechanically test it out, test drive it, look at oil leaks, kind of give them a detailed assessment about how this vehicle looks. It's $125, and it's the best $125 you'll ever spend. Now,
actually, that's
if you
not
want
bad.
Me to come, right. And that's 2 hours away from my house. So if I'm heading North Carolina, heading into Atlanta or anything like that, $125 is a really, really, I'm probably too cheap, but I'm okay because it's fun.
Is that at least an hour?
Or
do you charge the mileage separate? 2 hours away to go 2 hours there and 2 hours back for $125?
Yeah. I do this because I love it. I don't do, I make money on the side and stuff like that, but I'm a minimalist at heart, and you've heard how thrifty I am in this conversation. So
true.
$125 for my time making a contact, and it always leads into something else as well. Like every time I go, it's like, hey, I've got a friend that's looking to do this, or hey, I've got this friend that wants to talk to you about it. So it always leads into more work. That's just kind of my entry level. But if you want me to come out there and negotiate, you want me to drive it home, you want me to drive it to my house to build it out, you want me to build it out, obviously the price goes up from there. But I'm very reasonable with my stuff. I'm not going to charge you $150 an hour for me to work on your stuff. No, I'm not the dealership. So, but again, it's as little of involvement or as much involvement as you want me to have on your purchase and your vehicle. And I'm happy to do whatever it is you would like me to do. Any place that if you don't know how to negotiate, I'll come help you. I'm very, very good at it. I've been doing it for many, many years. And I've owned so many vehicles and bought, sold, traded, flipped, just moved vehicles. I've done that for the past 10 years. So I'm familiar with the market. I'm familiar on the negotiation skills and tactics and things like that. And the build out, like I said, I've got a team assembled. I've got my best friend, Tony. I mean, me and him are brothers. We got the same beard. He's my guy. And if anything comes my way, it's coming his way as well. And he's very experienced. He does carpentry. We build fences together. We kind of do a little bit of everything together. And matter of fact, I'm going to work with him tomorrow, but Tony and I, we have the same dream. He's a big conversion guy himself. He's going to be doing an enclosed trailer soon and hopefully a skoolie really soon as well. So I'm working together with like-minded individuals that anywhere where I can't fill a gap, I've got somebody to fill that gap for me. I'm not an expert carpenter by any means. Tony's better than I am. So I've got a good crew. I've got a good team assembled. My wife, she is absolutely a saint. She loves doing this too. We're passionate about this together. So, and my daughter, I mean, for that matter, she was out there on my birthday. She had a chisel and everything, and she was scraping glue off of the floor. So, I mean, it's a family project. We enjoy doing this. And again, I've manifested this. I've talked about it. I've been in the conversion game now for 5 years, and I've always wanted to do this, not necessarily professionally, but more often, more frequent, and interact with more people that are like-minded. So I guess the one thing that I want people to know from this interview is, even if you have a question, if you are stuck on your vehicle and say, hey man, I don't know what to do with my flooring, do you got any advice? My email's down there. My Facebook is always open. I love talking to you guys. It's not a pitch. I'm not selling you anything. I'm not going to do anything like that. If you're in Canada and you want to know, hey man, I'm looking at different types of flooring, or hey, I'm looking at different types of solar. If I don't have the answer, I'll find somebody that does, and I want to help you guys out.
Kathleen Klein says mechanics at local truck repair places often will work off book. I never thought of that either.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. I am learning so much.
Yeah. No, and I'll tell you a lot of. I mean, that's where a lot of my stuff went through was side jobs. I mean, when I was working in a shop, I was doing not necessarily side jobs, but I was buying a lot of cars that customers didn't want to fix. And I would, if they came in and it had a massive oil leak and they just said, nah, I'm kind of done with the car. I don't want, dealership's not going to give me anything. I'd give them some money, fix up the car, and sell the car. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of mechanics, and diesel mechanics especially, they'll do side jobs and work off the book for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, because then you're getting the same quality work.
So, yeah, and I mean, as long as you can prove their experience, I will say this. I mean, not every diesel mechanic is created equally, and that comes back to the difference between a mechanic and a technician. There's a lot of guys that can change. There's a lot of guys that can change injectors, but there's not as many guys that can tell you how those injectors work and why they fail and how they function and all the inner workings of that. So there's a big difference between technicians and mechanics. And if you find a good mechanic, a good diesel mechanic, they're few and far between, you can tell right away. You can start talking about things and they can say, hey, nope, that's not right. I can tell usually within 2 to 3 minutes of talking to somebody, whether they swap parts or whether they're a mechanic and know how a vehicle works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, DJ says he's got a good guy that actually gave him a discount on the parts. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, awesome. Time flies when I'm talking to you.
It's a blast. I just looked up at the time myself, hour 25. I tell you, I've got probably 15 more minutes. I don't mind chatting a little bit. If anybody has questions, I think now is probably the time to kind of lead in, and we'll just kind of see where it goes. But if anybody has any questions for me or comments or anything, please ask. I'd love to.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have you again with a very different specific topic, and then maybe another topic and another topic.
Well, and you know what? I really do. I enjoy these organic talks because I feel like it kind of, everybody kind of uses ideas. And I'm all about sharing information with people. The only way I'm a student. I mean, I love learning. If I don't learn in a day, my day's not complete. I have to learn something new every day.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's nice that you guys are such a creative family too. I just feel like that's such an added bonus.
It helps. You know, my daughter's an artist. My wife is, she's got an eye. I mean, like if she did interior decorating or, you know, we see the same things. Everybody that comes over and like sees our antiques and stuff. And maybe one episode I'll have to do it when it's not dark outside because it's a little late here, but I may have to do a little tour around my property and show you guys kind of what I'm working on because I've got trucks everywhere. I've got antiques everywhere. And
Oh,
it's
that'd be
cool.
awesome. We could put it up like we did the pictures.
Yeah. No, that'd be awesome. But no, I've always got stuff going on. But my wife, she's got such a great eye as far as like, hey, I think we should do this here or do this here. And when she was when we were working on the van with Cedar and everything, she kind of put her input about, oh, let's do this and let's do this. And that van's going to turn out really, really cool. And I can't wait to see what happy camper ends up with that van because it's going to be awesome.
Rhonda Ardez says that she'll be in contact with you. She's going to be needing some help. She's going to send you off an email. And Rhonda, that for everybody again, we have the email up underneath my chin, right here.
Yeah,
it's right here.
right there.
I'm always like, where's the camera? Yeah. I'm going the wrong direction.
No, I'd love to talk to everybody, and even if it's just chatting. I mean, if it's Facebook, if you are on Facebook, and I don't really sit on Facebook and hang out on Facebook. I just kind of use it for marketplace and talking to people I care about. But if you're on Facebook, that's really a quick way to get me and kind of chat real quick. If you're stuck in the middle of a project or something, it's just huge. I mean, just sometimes it's like, hey, what do you think of this? Is this a good enough or whatever? This is great.
Sorry, I'm just watching a little bit of the girls chatting.
I missed it.
Oh, Going Green Mom's like, he's even coming up with video ideas. And she's like, oh, shucks. Your wife is adorable.
She is. She's awesome. No, she's definitely the backbone of most of my projects and just kind of the reason to make it all happen. I mean, it's very supportive. And, you know, sometimes... I mean, this year alone, I've traveled to Alabama. I've traveled up to Nashville. I've traveled to Philadelphia. I mean, I've spent a lot of time away from home chasing these conversions and working with clients and stuff. So it's awesome to have a support system that understands what I'm doing and understands the passion and also shares the same passion. It's really awesome. And it makes it even more fun because we've always wanted to work together. You know, we've been together now 12 years. And been married for almost 7, but she really dives in with me, you know, and we always wanted to work together. And with conversions kind of popping up, it's given us, because we've converted skoolies, we've converted vans, we've converted truck beds, we've converted an ambulance, we've converted a bunch of stuff. And now since we're passionate about it, it's leading into kind of a family little business and a little bit of a family gig for us to work on. And it's awesome. I love it. That's
great.
It's amazing.
John, what's an OTR truck?
Over the road? No. I'm Paula, you haven't owned.
Is that not my ambulance? Isn't whatever an OTR is?
Over the road is like a big semi. I mean, that's over the road is like
I have never owned one of those.
No, no, I haven't either. I haven't either.
She probably has, but I haven't. So this question is, John, roof racks on tall vehicles versus low tree limbs. Do you build roof racks much?
Yeah. So I think my favorite thing right now, especially on ambulances, is the platform, the wooden platform. So it's like an upper deck. There's several people that I've watched do it, and there's multiple people that I really, really like their ideas on it. But building roof racks depends on what your usage. If you want to get up there and hang out, you need to build a deck. If you just want to have a roof rack to haul kayaks around on or storage, whatever, you definitely do got to watch your height. And I encourage everybody with a skoolie, with a ambulance, with a high top van, know your height. It is very, very, very important. That's a great question about height and tree limbs and things like that, because if you get into suburban, or urban areas and things like that, there's a lot of bridges and underpasses that have, like 14-foot limits and things like that. And if you're loaded up, you need to know how high you are. And I mean, even pulling into the McDonald's and Taco Bell drive-through, they've got a sign up above it that says 9'6" or 8'2", or parking garages 8.3, or, so you do have to know your height to an exact measurement.
I have a sticker right on the dash that was, I think, there from the time they built it. I think, is it like 8'9" or 9'8", something like that? 8'9"?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's important. It is very important. But yeah, roof racks I think they're awesome. And I think my roof rack, I'm going to do a decking system on my ambulance that's going to be just a flat deck, no rails, of course, but just a flat wooden deck up top. And then I'm going to do kind of a cargo and luggage and spare tire carrier on the actual roof of the cab of the truck. So I'm going to do two roof racks on my ambo, I believe.
What are collapsible rails?
Yeah, collapsible rails. That's a great idea. Or even temporary rails. I've seen some guys, they have like van cargo rails, and all they do is just kind of screw on from the bottom and pinch the gutter system on the ambulances.
Okay.
So you can have collapsible or any rails that just come off or anything like that. But yeah, they do make collapsible rails that only are up when they're in use.
So what would be a safe height to be able to go under most bridges? What is a standard height? Like for me, I always think, if there was a way, I'd love to put a kayak on my roof. With the ambulance, right. I feel like I could probably get away with that. But with the bus, maybe a person couldn't for the height?
It just kind of depends. I mean, I personally don't think I would want anything over 13, 13.5. 14's okay. Pushing it. Because you get into anything over 13.5 or 14 feet, you're going to run into bridge issues inner city. So if you go through like under train tracks or anything like that in Atlanta, so I'm just kind of showing where I'm at, my geographics, but if you go through any viaducts or anything like that under train tracks or anything in downtown Atlanta, 13.5 to 14 is usually your clearance on that. So if you
I literally wrote that down, John.
Okay. And that's just like your cruise around. Now that's not to say, you can't be 12.5 and put a 3-foot kayak on there just temporarily, as long as you know your routes. Most interstates, you're not going to have a problem because semis are going to still be much taller and you're not going to have an issue. But if you get into inner city, I think that's going to be the big thing. Yeah, 13 feet and 6. That's the number okay. Right there. That's usually the low coverage bridge.
What's a super strut?
Oh, super strut. That's okay. Man, I want to see a picture of that. That sounds awesome.
What is this?
I'm not really sure how that would work. Hella I'm kind of curious on myself on that. That's super strut and composite boards. Yeah, I'd like to see it. I want to see the construction of that. That sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm. Hella artsy dude, you're gonna have to put a video out. Put a video out on that one. That's your next project. Hey, Badge.
If you've got anything on that, like pictures or anything, Hella artsy dude, tag me in it, and I will check that out as soon as I get off of this live, because I'm kind of curious on what you're doing. Because there's a girl that I'm following on Instagram right now that's building a pretty cool upper deck system on the ambulance, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to mimic that this winter. But if you've got any better ideas, man, again, I'm a student. I'm constantly learning. I'd love to see what other people are doing. That's awesome.
He says he has a roof rack video on his channel.
I'll check it out.
Well, check it. It's Hella Artsy Dude. That's his channel. I don't have to worry anymore about not having anyone that doesn't know anything, because I have Badge now. Badge. Everyone needs one.
Yep.
He just lives in the province next to me, and he's Badge, a heavy duty mechanic? That's the kind of mechanic awesome. I need, right? Like you were saying, there's the difference between a technician and a mechanic, and yeah.
Well, I've seen a lot of. I've seen the interview, parts of the interview that you've done with Badge. He's a badass. He really is. He's cool.
Oh, you've been watching all my videos. That's awesome. We are actually, for everybody out there, Friday night this week. It's the only time I'm doing it Friday. We're doing a birthday bash for Badge. So anyone that knows Badge and wants to pop up, I'll be dropping the live stream link lots, and And people can come up and wish him happy birthday. It's going to be fun. I might even drink some wine
Well,
while
everybody,
I'm doing it.
Hey, there you go. There you. No, if anybody would like to get in contact with me, we'll probably wrap it up here. But if anybody wants to get in contact with me, and again, I'm not selling you anything. I'm not doing anything like that. If you just want to get in contact with me and bounce ideas off of me, I would love to be that guy. And if you are looking for something, you want to enter into this lifestyle, you want to know the difference between owning a van, owning an ambulance, owning a skoolie, you want to talk about building stuff out, you want to talk about budget, please message me. Don't enter into this blindly. Don't take it. I mean, this is really next to your car and your house. This is the third biggest investment most people will make in their life. I mean,
well, for some of them, it's both.
Right.
It's not living in it. That's their everything. And when it breaks down, they're vehicleless and homeless.
Yeah. So don't take it lightly. I mean, just the same way like it is programmed in your blood that when you buy a new house, you have a home inspector come in. It should be the exact same way. Hey, I need to have a mechanic. I need to have somebody that knows what they're doing come in and do this. And I'm not kidding. If somebody is watching this in California and says, hey, I'm looking at a bus over here and I want to fly this guy out here, I want this guy to drive out here, I'll do it. If you're looking in Florida and you want to look at an ambulance, I'll be happy to come down there. It's awesome. I love meeting these people. This is why I'm doing this. I enjoy doing this. And travel is part of it. I don't mind it at all. My thing is personal experience with people and watching people. It's been so nice. The two ladies that I've helped into the bus today and the van recently, she just got her bus today, and Carolyn's leaving out on her trip to go to the beach tomorrow and is going to be listening to this tomorrow. And that is by far the most rewarding thing for me, is seeing somebody end up with what they want, what they needed in the budget that they had. It makes me ecstatic. It absolutely makes me ecstatic to know that I've helped somebody enter into the lifestyle that I'm so passionate about, and that other people like yourself are passionate about it as well.
So where do you see yourself in the next 5, 10, 15 years? What are your goals for you and your family?
I love life. Life is always provided for me organically. I always put things out that I'm passionate about. I always try to shine a light in places that are positive, and it's always led me in the places I'm at. The only place I want to be in 5 years is happy. And if it's still converting vehicles, I'll be converting vehicles. I'm very, very passionate about it right now. I've been passionate about it for 5 years. And I will continue to be passionate about it. It's fun. The people that I meet, like yourself, and like, I mean, Hell Artsy, dude, I had no idea who he was before the last time that we talked. And now me and him interact on Facebook quite a bit. It's meeting those people, building those connections, and shining a positive light in dark corners and things like that. And everybody that I've encountered in the conversion world is like-minded and humble and resourceful and awesome.
Do we have time for one last question? Do you know anything about getting the insurance on a skoolie?
Yes, it depends on what state you're in, and there's avenues you can go through. Converting it to an RV is probably the easiest way to do it. Some states are harder than others. Even some counties within states are difficult. Like Georgia's kind of difficult to get a skoolie registered as an RV, but once you do it, it's very easy to insure. Another thing that you can look into is commercial insurance. It runs a little bit higher. It's a little bit more expensive because you're dealing with heavier duty vehicles. But you can get commercial insurance on a skoolie. There's, again, some states, so it kind of depends on what state you're in. I know the legality for Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, just because that's kind of my area. But again, I don't have the answer. Reach out to me, john.dobbs.1012@gmail.com. I don't have the answer right now according to your state. I'll get it. Please reach out to me for those questions if you have them. I am extremely resourceful, and I can find out.
That's amazing. Your wife says she sees more goats in the future and more animals in general.
Always more animal. No, I'll tell you, we are an animal family, and I think that's why we go to the utilitarian style vehicles like skoolies and ambulances and stuff, because when we travel 6 deep, and it's 3 humans and 3 4-legged creatures. And if it was up to my wife, we'd probably travel with all the goats and the donkey and the pig and all that stuff too. So
you can tow them when you're driving the ambulance.
No, I'm good. They've got their own thing happening. No, but our dogs, I mean, they're our family. They stay with us all the time. They never are on leashes. So it's important for us to have a comfortable spot for all of us to hang out when we're camping and travel up. I mean, the reason why I do all this is so that it creates new opportunities and more bonding time for me and my family. The reason why I have an ambulance is so that we can take off on a Wednesday for a 24-hour trip, and me and my daughter can go dirt biking for 4 hours, and my wife can go hiking with the dogs, and then we can all come back and share a meal together and sleep under the stars. And
I see the dirt bikes in there. You do have your dirt bikes.
Always.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh, that's some good family time.
Very mobile family. We like moving around, and we get antsy. We are homesteaders. We have our roots very firmly planted in this 6 acres that we live at. But we get a little cooped up. We like to run around. We like to go places, North Carolina, the mountains, farther up into the mountains, or traveling for a client. You know, I like to run down to Atlanta and be able to stay in my ambulance for a couple of days, helping my buddy out, converting something. So no mini donkey, Mallory. We're not
Sorry, I had to stick that up as soon as I saw it. Mallory.
I guess the only thing about, traveling with our mini donkey is I could get a sticker that says always hauling ass.
Oh, yeah. That's funny. Hilarity Dude wants to let you know he sent you the link for that video, like that roof rack, and that he's loving it and it's super adjustable. So
I got it. Awesome.
Oh, well, I don't know. I figure I should probably let you go because I held you up 45 minutes longer than I promised already.
No, let's do it again. If everybody's on the same page and wants me to come back and talk about something, and if there's anybody that wants me to talk about things specifically next time, or
like what are some categories?
In a certain part of the build, anything conversion. I mean, from interior build out to mechanical aspects of things, to platforms, to skoolies, to ambulances, to enclosed trailers, even barbecue trailers. I mean, I like converting things. I like taking something that was meant for a certain purpose and turning it into something else. It's fun. It's artistic. And there's freedom along with it. So anything, even if it's, hey, what camping gear should I bring if I'm going on a 7-day hike, whatever, I'm happy to talk about that too. So anything. I wouldn't say, again, if I don't have the information, I'll get the information. I am a student and I enjoy learning.
That's awesome. Hella artsy dude, veggie conversion. Maybe come to Badge's birthday on Friday and ask that question there too, because he's done it. But I don't want to say too much. Oh, Mallory, you're a doll. I adore you, sweetheart. And you got a good husband. You guys are a great couple, and I'm just blessed that I get to know you guys at all. Oh, another topic is about dealing with moisture issues when insulating. Thrash Metal's like, go another hour and a half. Thrash, what are you doing? Yeah, veggie oil smells like fries. I bet you it does.
No, see, and I'd be all about veggie oil. I've had some experience with a veggie conversion and biodiesel on Mercedes-Benz, like the old Mercedes diesels, the 1980s 300Ds and things like that. They're very easy to do on the mechanical side of engines and stuff, but once you start getting into the newer modern electrical side of things, it becomes a little bit more difficult. But I'm all about some veggie conversion. I'm a vegetarian. My whole family's vegetarian. So, of course, a veggie conversion needs to be talked about.
Well, do you know Jax Austin? Have you seen his veggie conversion on his bus?
I haven't.
Anyone that has, if you start watching some of his videos, it's Badge that you see in there with them. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
There's Badge right there. Veggie conversions are easy. Well, Badge, I tell you.
He says that.
He knows more than I, so maybe we should have a collaborative where he and I get on here and bounce ideas off of each other, because, again, I want to be a student. Anything I don't know, he may know better, and I would love to hear from him. So that's awesome. Anything that we can bounce ideas off each other. Badge, let's go.
Yeah, maybe we could do like a veggie conversion theme or something for one show. and have a couple of you on here. That would be, I think that's a great idea. I'll talk to Badge about it after. Going Green Mom just dropped the link for Jack's. Going Green Mom, Megan, you're fantastic. She dropped the link for Jack's Austin's channel. If you want to take a look at that.
Awesome.
And Badge says anytime he's up for it. So awesome. Okay.
Again, like-minded individuals. Let's connect. This is honestly what I'm more about, is especially in this time with COVID. And I know you guys are up in Canada, but here in the United States, there's a lot of division. There's a lot of turmoil and things like that. There are like-minded, good people out there. And I think we need to become stronger the weaker the world gets. So it is very important. Focus on those
connections.
Yes.
I agree.
And create positivity. I mean, just from this is positive, an hour and 46 minutes of positivity and talking and bouncing ideas off each other and laughing. That's human nature, not all the stuff you see in the media. So this is a breath of fresh air and connecting with people like-minded and positive. That's 100% what this is about.
Yep, I agree. Well, thank you so much, and I hope you have a great night, John.
You as well. Thank you, everybody, and thank you so much for having me back on. We'll do it again soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Oops. And I just really want to thank everyone in the chat. You guys are so wonderful and interactive. Sorry that I didn't always get to pull up the questions, probably when you would have liked it, but not. But let me know if there's anything specific you would like to hear again from him. And I do think, I don't know, I'm really interested in that whole veggie conversion as well. I think getting a group together for that would be really good. Thanks, Badge. Yep, and definitely thank you, John. Thank you, Mallory, everyone that was a part of him coming out here today. So with that, I shall say good night. I will see you guys again at 7 o'clock my time, so it's 9 o'clock Eastern on Friday to wish Badge a happy birthday. Take care. Much love.